combined or integrated SaaS, software as a service offering. It's end-to-end analytical platform. Okay, so when we say end-to-end, what it means is that we have all the services required from data ingestion to data consumption, and all of these services are integrated with each other. Okay, and so it's a scalable offering. So you can always increase or decrease the size of your capacity. It can be scalable, and it's a SaaS. So you with just with an internet connection, you can access it from anywhere with all the components. So all the components are web based, so you can access it anywhere you want. Okay. So, but there are some exceptions where you can also download some client softwares, client tools, and access this as well. So we'll cover on that. And then, so when we say like it's a streamlined collaboration, what we really mean is, so it does not require any separate licenses for each of the particular tools, except for the Power BI. There are some exceptions. We'll talk about that. And so since we don't need any separate licenses, and also since we have a one lake storage layer, so all the storage, the data will be stored in that one lake, and it can be easily collaborated between different teams. So we'll go over that. Okay. So, and also the key thing to note here is it's a low to no code approach. That means there are several tools in this. For example, data flows. What happens is like you use that to build the mappings. So with just click of buttons, there's no heavy coding skills required for to use certain tools at least. So once you open the Fabric, so these are the components that you can see in the Microsoft Fabric. So these are all called as experiences in the Fabric. Okay. So as I said, there's no separate license required for all this. It all comes with the Fabric license, Fabric capacity, except the Power BI. So I'll also cover, there is some minor difference here. So even the basic functionality of Power BI also comes up with the Fabric license. Just that the advanced features or collaboration is not possible with just the free license or the Fabric capacity. You will have to go for a premium or pro license of the Power BI, like Data Factory. What we do in Data Factory, like it's actually a combination of Azure Data Factory and the Power Query interface, what we have in the Power BI. Then, so the data engineering services. So a typical data engineering, it requires like it has a notebook and it has Spark job, a Spark cluster. So all those things associated with it. And then we have a data warehouse. So this is something new. So what happens is here, the compute and the storage are decoupled, right? So it's independent scaling that can be achieved. And also, whatever we store in this data warehouse, the underlying storage area is again one lake, and it is something on an open Delta Lake format. Data science, I'm not going to cover more in detail about the data science, real-time analytics, and the other ones. The last thing, the data activator, here you can see it is coming soon, but it has already come. So it is something like it's a no-code experience for automatically taking some actions based on certain patterns in the data that's been detected. So if we segregate all these experiences, then these the top ones, what you see here, that comes under analysis and action. And here you have move and transform, which is basically used for the data movement and data transformation. And then finally, data science we have for insights and patterns. The data integration. So as I said earlier, what happens is here we can really move the data quickly between different parts of your data systems. Okay. So basically, this is used for ingestion, preparation, and transformation of the data from variety of the sources. So the primary building blocks of this data integration, basically there are two components in it. One is the data flow, which is data flow Gen 2, and the other one is the data pipeline. So we'll talk about this in detail. So what is data flow? So so data flow is almost considered as a no code experience, as most of the operations we do is the GUI based. Okay. So there are over about 300 data transformations available with just a click of a button. You can do the transformation. You can play around. you can do the transformation of the data. And also this whole experience is built around the Power Query, the which comes with the Power BI, right? So the UI actually matches the same. Um, and So the other part is it's not mentioned here, but it supports over 150 plus data sources actually. Okay, so including majority of the RDBMS providers and many SaaS applications like Salesforce, Google, Zoho, all those things are supported. But one thing to be noted here is the destinations. The destinations are limited. So only for the Microsoft destinations it is supported right now, like Azure SQL database and Fabric Warehouse, Lakehouse. This is an enhancement over the original data flow. That's the reason it is Gen 2. So one of the key improvements over the Gen 1 and Gen 2 is that here there is an option to include the destination part in the data flow. Earlier it was not possible. So the destination itself was a Power BI data set, but here now we can use a destination, like I said earlier, the limited destination storage we can use. Um, so there is one more option here, which is the fast copy. So this is something new in this data flow. So you can move the data between your favorite data sources. Like again, there are limited data sources for which this has been enabled. Again, the Azure Data Lake Storage, the Azure Blob, Azure SQL Database, Lakehouse. So these are the very few data sources where you can enable the fast copy option. Okay. So yeah, that's all about the data flow, data pipeline. So so what is a data pipeline? So I would say it's a group. It's a group of activities bundled together into a workflow. Okay. So it is nothing but like that group can be in sequence also, sequence of activities. Basically, you orchestrate uh, the different processes. Usually, it is used for extracting the data from one or more sources and then loading the data into the destinations along with some kind of transformations in between. Okay. Um, so here also, like there are the basic building blocks are the activities, parameters, and you have the pipeline runs. So an activity is nothing but a task inside a pipeline. Okay. So the task can be anything. If you want to build a new pipeline, so Microsoft Fabric has provided a predefined templates. So you can start with the template and then you can build the pipeline accordingly. Okay. So it's just a kind of assistance you get when you choose a template. You kind of get the assistance where uh, just mention the source and the target. So the other pipelines will be constructed automatically. So something like that. And then for the monitoring purpose, you have a monitoring hub where you can monitor the status of the pipeline. And you can also review the run history of the older runs. Okay. So you can also see the in detail of each and every task here. Like for example, if we are copying data from any source to stage, you can see the duration of each and every activity. You can see the duration and you can see the throughput as well. So these are the activities, some high level activities. I have not listed all the activities here. So these are all the segregations. Okay, so here you see the copy data activity, data flow activity, notebook, stored procedure. So copy data activity is a task actually. So it's available in the pipeline. So if it's just that, you just have to define the sources and the targets to this, and the data copy happens. So similarly, the data flow, as we discussed earlier, so the data flow that we can actually create a data flow and call the data flow from the data pipeline. That is what it means. And then we can also use the notebooks. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the notebooks. So the notebook feature is also present here. And we also have the stored procedure here. Since we have the warehouse, Fabric Warehouse, so the Fabric Warehouse supports the stored procedure. Okay, so that's the reason. Like we create a stored procedure and we can call that stored procedure from the pipeline. And then we have the control flow activities. So this is for the looping. So let's say like you set a variable and then you have this for each loop, lookup activity, and then this conditional statements like if then else. So these are all possible.
Please like, share, and comment. and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel.